Hello, dear Silvina. Hello, Rocío.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Nice to meet you, Rocío.
Nice to meet you, Jaime.
Okay, we are in Facebook Live now. Oops, you have a sore throat?
I don't know, my voice is getting nervous.
Well, that's good, Rocío. I usually tell the best um, speakers have that problem a few minutes before presenting.
A cup, glass of water in a minute. Sylvie,
Okay,
can you hear us? I think Sylvie was having some internet issues, but I think she's back.
okay. Can I ask you some questions, Rocío? We are broadcasting Facebook Live now, so I
Okay.
usually interview the guest speakers. Number one, thank you for having accepted the invitation to take part in these meetings. Where are
Yes.
you from, Rocío?
I'm from Colombia right now.
Exactly from
From I am from Bucaramanga, but I now live in Tunja. It's a small city near the
where?
capital. Tunja is a
Ah,
little
I
city.
was there 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yes, I was visiting Santo Tomas University. Beautiful, beautiful city, wonderful people, incredible weather and food.
Thank you. Yes, it's a small city, very, very nice. It's a very nice.
Yeah. How long have you been a teacher, Rocío?
How long have I been a teacher? I've been teaching for about 8 years now.
Okay. And thanks to teaching, no. Did you decide to become a teacher or it wasn't your first option and you were studying something else and then you changed direction?
It was my first option since I was a child.
Very good. And what are some of the achievements you have got? What are some of the benefits thanks to this beautiful profession that you have obtained?
Okay. First, my personal growth as a human. I think being a teacher has been a great path to learn from others and to give my best to other people, to my students, to my staff, my colleagues, and now to you, to learn more and to share with you what I have learned. And in terms of academic achievements, I think I've been working on different projects. I published an article about flip learning in order to have more participation or to keep students active in the classroom. Maybe I can share the link with you and you can read it later. And
Yeah,
now
please.
I'm very keen on growth mindset as an important part of being a teacher, so we can communicate better with our students when giving feedback and encourage them to pursue their goals.
Yeah. What is something that you haven't done yet, but you would love to do in the future? Thinking about your career and your interests.
I think I would like to share this growth mindset course that we created with Silvina with more people, with more teachers. I think it's a safe place to reflect on our teaching practices and to grow. And as we reflect on our practices, we're going to impact our students in the classroom, and it will bring lots of benefits, as you will see during the presentation today.
Uh, have you presented somewhere else in your country, abroad?
This presentation
No,
here,
no, any other presentation.
oh yes, here in my country, I have participated in many workshops and congresses. I don't know, with teachers and academic events at universities, at
Uh,
Universidad Industrial de Santander in Bucaramanga, and here at UPTC, Universidad Pedagógica y Tecnológica de Colombia. I
uh,
have participated in those
okay,
events.
and what would you say the principal problem for Colombian teachers is? For example, these days, because of the pandemic and because of the virtual classes in front of the laptop, 24/7. So what would you say the principal problem for Colombian educators is?
I would say that is the main problem is the system that is focused on grades, on tests, on scores. So even if the coordinators disagree with that type of system, they are pushed to push teachers towards those goals. So it's sad to see that we cannot focus on the process more than on the grades. So I think we will have to work on that.
Yeah, I guess, Rocio, listening to you, I guess I would say that the principal problem in all Latin America is that the one that you have just mentioned, because it comes from the ministry and then to the coordinators and then to the directors, and everyone pushes everyone. And we are the ones, the people who are in the classrooms are the ones who should have 100% control. Is there something you would like to do in the future, like to present, I don't know, at a TEFL in England or TESOL in the United States, or publish a book? I don't know. What is
Probably,
your big dream?
I would like to publish a book to work more on research and collect all experiences from teachers that will help other teachers to to have another vision of what we can do and how can we impact on the classroom, because I think at some point we as teachers just go continue following the system and we give up, let's say. And I want to motivate other teachers to be a change, the change they want to see in their students, the change
Oh,
they want to see in their country.
okay. I don't know if Silvina is there. Silvina.
I think she's not.
Hello, Silvina.
Hello,
Nice to
Jaime.
see you.
Hello, how are you? Good morning,
Well,
everyone.
we were a little
Good
bit
morning,
worried about
Jaime.
you. Good morning. I was talking to
Sorry, I was
Rocio.
worried too. Uh,
I was asking Rocio some questions about
yeah,
her
I was having
personal,
some issues with the
yeah,
internet
about,
connection.
yeah. Tell me, Silvina, where do you live in Argentina?
Well, actually, I am Argentinian, but I live in Colombia. And I live in the
Ah,
countryside. And this is something that happens when you live in the countryside. Sometimes there are some problems with the internet. And I had to
okay.
come down to the town and find a cafe in order to be able to give the presentation. I'm so sorry, but well,
No, that's okay. No,
I think
thank
that
you.
we've all been exposed to some technological issue
Well,
during the pandemic, and well, it goes on.
well, let me tell you, Silvina, that the 61 speakers we had before, everyone had the same problem. So relax, because this is a friendly environment. You will see
Really
that.
sorry.
No, come on. You will understand when you listen to the other people who usually come from Mexico, Canada, Ecuador, Bolivia, and different other countries. Silvina, how long have you been a teacher?
Oh, I've been a teacher since I was 18, when I had my first young student, and I became passionate about teaching. I was passionate about teaching when I was a child.
Yeah,
But
same thing
I
like
had my
Rocio,
first student
right?
when I was 18, and then yeah, it was like a neighbor, a young neighbor who was in primary school, and she asked me to give her classes. And after that, it was like, this is what I really want to do. When I was a child, I used to play with my teddy bears, and they were my students at the time. But then as I grew up, I realized that it was my calling. And honestly, I don't see myself doing anything else. It's weird, but at the same time, it's what I love doing. So
Yeah, why did
even
you
though
move?
even though there are lots of obstacles.
Yeah, why did you move from Argentina to Colombia, and how long ago?
Well, why it was a little bit of chance by chance. My husband and I wanted to look for a new environment. We like traveling, and being a teacher, it's very easy to be a teacher anywhere. Well, if you get a job, of course. But English is a great tool for that. That's what English gives you. It gives you the opportunity to teach in different parts of the world. And if you have that tool, it's something that you bring with you everywhere you go. So, well, we decided to move to Colombia. We were living in Patagonia at the time, and we decided to come here. And we ended up living in a very small place. We live in the mountains, in the countryside. And but we've been in Colombia for over 8 years now.
So do you think you will stay in Colombia? Do you think you will stay in Colombia for good, forever?
It's hard to tell. I think that because we have this capacity and this chance to adapt to things, we can go to other places and it'll be okay. We will learn new things, get accustomed to new cultures and new habits, and I think it's good to be exposed to different cultures and different places. Honestly, I don't know. I cannot tell you if I will be here the rest of my life, but so far we are here and this is our home. And I truly hope that one day I can go back to Argentina and probably keep moving around and keep visiting new places and experiencing new cultures.
Okay, and the final question, Rocío, how did you meet Silvina? In what circumstances did you meet?
I think I met her like 3 years ago. I don't know. I'm not sure. Probably 3, 4 years ago. We have been co-workers, colleagues. We work at the same university, but we started this project during this pandemic last year, I think. Yeah.
Okay, let me welcome the other people who are already here. Hello, Carlos Carranza in Ecuador. Good morning, Roxy in Lima, Peru. And Vargas Millan, Juan Carlos, I guess you are from Colombia, Juan Carlos, if I'm not mistaken. Well, he's not around. And Huawei Y9, I don't know who he or she is. Okay, number one, let me
Good morning.
Hello,
Good morning,
Juan
Mr.
Carlos.
Jaime. I
Hello.
have the pleasure to be here. Thanks to you. Welcome to the other partners, the other colleagues. When I was listening to Miss Silvina, I remember something that is really true. Nessuno è profeta in patria. Nobody is a prophet in his fatherland. So sometimes we have to go somewhere else.
Yes, you are right, Carlos. Thank you so much. And finally, let me introduce the president of our international association online, Raj Gill in Canada. Hello, good morning, Raj.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Nice to be with you.
Nice to have you with us again. So, Silvina, are you there? We are going to start. Silvina?
Perfect. Here I am.
Okay. Number one, I will introduce you. I will present some information about the end of our international meetings this year. I hope we can come back next year. So good morning, everyone in the 5 continents. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And thank you, Silvina Velazquez from Argentina and Rocío Oviedo from Colombia, from your time and your expertise on a Sunday morning. Today is the 21st of November 2021, 5 weeks before Christmas. And we are going to start our 62nd international meeting. As usual, I will share with you my screen to let you know some of the info. Okay, so these are the International English Online Meetings number 62. So as usual, I present some quotes so we can reflect about the topic that is going to be presented. So maybe Roxy, you could help us with the first one and express what you think.
Sure. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Well,
Beautiful.
it means, yeah, sure. It means that we have to go for it. It doesn't matter how hard it is. We should continue trying.
Yes, that's true. Thank you, Roxy. Next one, Carlos Carranza in Ecuador.
Thank you. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. By Albert Einstein.
What do you think, Carlos?
Sometimes we have to overcome the fear because nobody wants to be pointed out as a wrongdoer, because that is what people who never does anything, they usually say that you are doing a mistake, you are making a mistake, and you are always keep repeating that. But it's because they never try something, and
Yes.
that is totally true.
Yeah.
You have to overcome the fear of making mistakes,
Thank
because
you so much.
from the mistakes we can learn.
Of course, Carlos Carranza. Raj Jill in Canada, could you please help me with the next one?
Just because you haven't found your talent yet doesn't mean you don't have one. I love this one because it has the word yet in it. They
Yes,
haven't found it yet, which means we still have time to find it.
of course. Till the last minute, till the last second, we are breathing even before dying, my dear Raj.
Almost have time.
Okay, if you want to see the other 61 previous meetings, you can find them in our YouTube channel in YouTube. Well, the guest speakers for next Sunday, the 5th of December, is Marina Gonzalez from Argentina. She will be talking about a beautiful topic, teaching English to future English teachers. So don't miss it and be with us. And the last international English online meeting, it will be a round table. If I'm not mistaken, is number 6. And the round table will be, let us be grateful to life. People, Mary Scholl from USA, Costa Rica, Isabel Taja from Peru, Raj Jill from Canada, and Angelica Rojas from Colombia. They will be discussing about the benefits, the disadvantages of these 2 years of pandemic, what happened, what are we going to do now? And of course, being grateful to life, because in spite of all the problems and we have many things to thank. And today we have 2 beautiful, wonderful, marvelous professionals and ladies. Silvina Velazquez from Argentina. Let me say a few words about Silvina Velazquez. She holds a BA in English Studies from Universidad Argentina de la Empresa and a postgraduate certificate in translation skills from the City University of London, apart from a TEFL international certification. She's currently studying a master's degree in educational technology and digital competencies. She works as a full-time teacher in the virtual program of the International Language Institute at Universidad Pedagógica y Tecnológica de Colombia and extension courses. Her fields of interest include e-learning, ESP, formative assessment, education, in rural settings, teacher training, SEL, and growth mindset in education. So welcome, dear Silvina. Now, let me introduce and say a few words about Rocío Oviedo from Colombia. Rocío Cristina Oviedo Uribe holds a BA in English teaching from Universidad Industrial de Santander and a master's degree in teaching languages from Universidad Pedagógica y Tecnológica de Colombia, where she currently works as an English as a foreign language full-time teacher. She also studied in the United States of America a certificate in early childhood education at the College of Southern Maryland from 2010 to 2012. Her field of interest include e-learning portfolio design, flipped learning, English language methodology, and growth mindset in education. My dear Silvina and dear Rocío, welcome to our Zoom meetings, and thank you so much for your time on a Sunday morning.
Thank you for your invitation.
So you may share your screen.
Sure, give me a sec. Okay, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about growth mindset in education. But we're going to use a tool, I don't know if maybe you have used it before, it's called Peer Deck. So I'm going to give you a link through the chat, and I want you to please click on it and go to the presentation. You're gonna be listening to me from the Zoom, but we're gonna be working on the Peer Deck. It's a very interactive tool. You just have to click on the link. Let me know if it is working for you.
Okay, we are trying to connect.
Let me see. I cannot see you getting. Okay, I see one student, one, two. Okay, this is working. I'm going to share my screen.
Please
You
do.
can see the presentation. Okay. Can you see? Okay, here I see 4 people are online. So how many are we? Let me see. 11, 13. Okay, it seems that Silvina is having internet issues. Okay. Okay. Please let me know when you're ready. Meanwhile, I'm going to tell you about this project. So,
Could you speak, sorry, Rocío Oviedo, a little bit louder?
Sure.
That's better, much
Let me
better.
get closer. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a project that we have right now with Silvina. We were working with our team from the university, the teachers team, the staff, on 10 sessions about growth mindset for educators. So this is like a brief, let me see, a summary or the most important part that we can share with you today. So it's gonna be like we're gonna work together as we did with the staff members of my team. So we are going to interact a lot. We are going to do some activities, and you will participate. So you feel free to share your thoughts. This is gonna be a safe place, and we're gonna have a lot of reflection. Is everybody on the peer deck? Let me share the link again with you for people who just arrived. On the chat, you can see the link. Okay, let's start. Anyway, you can join us meanwhile we're having the presentation. Okay, so welcome to Growth Mindset for Educators. As I was telling you, this is a short summary or a short session from the ones that we conducted with our teachers here at the university. We had 10 sessions, and this is going to be just a short part of them. Okay, so why growth mindset for educators? So I want you to think why, what's the reason that it's important to talk about growth mindset in the education field. So you are on the Peer Deck presentation, so you can write your answer there. It's gonna be anonymous, so you don't, feel free to write what you think, okay? So here I see 2 people are writing. Remember, you are on the Peer Deck presentation and you're listening to me through the Zoom meeting, okay? So, let me give you 1 minute to think about this question and write your response. during this time, these 2 years that we have been living this problem, this international pandemic problem, we have learned a lot about the human as a being, as a person who has values and who has different perspectives. And here, the growth mindset or the mindset itself, it's very important to work on it. I mean, it is not only something that we have innate, but it's something that we can improve and work on it every day in our daily activities. Let's see some of the responses. So, because we need to open our choices and find other tools, classes that are not a routine, okay, yeah. Because we always need to find a way to teach our learners something. Let me 1 second. Okay, our learners, and if something doesn't work, we could find a different way, but always continue trying. Because we educate, we not only teach. That's the most important reason. I think that keeping your focus on the academic aspects of teaching, okay, grading, preparing lessons, disconnect us with what the real purpose of education is, connecting with other human beings. So I think growth mindset help us in this part, I think. Okay, developing mindsets need reflections, yeah. Because it helps educators open their minds to learning from mistakes and seeing there are many different ways to get to learn a topic. Okay, so we need to reflect and we have to have interpretations about the things. Okay, so okay, here we have I think growth mindset helps us to connect with the human, and more specifically teaching. Okay, yeah, thank you for your responses. Yes, all of you are right. We not only teach contents, we educate people. We help them to be good people. Let's continue. So as I was telling you when we started, this is a free, feel free to share your thoughts. This is a safe place to reflect upon your mindset as an educator. We're not going to judge. There is no right or wrong answer because every person has their own process. So we're going to reflect on our own process and how we can get better. So the big question, what is mindset? So here, either you can open your microphone and tell me, or you can write your response. What is mindset? What do you think is mindset in general? Not growth mindset, but only mindset. What is mindset? What
Anybody in the audience, please feel free to comment.
Okay, here we have 2 people writing their responses. So let's give them a minute.
Does anybody want to talk? Feel free.
Yeah, please. We love listening to your thoughts and opinions. So let's read what we have here in the paradigm. So mindset is everything that shapes who we are, our past experiences as a child, as an adult, teacher, etc. A systematic reflections of our thoughts, the set of ideas and procedures we have stuck on our minds. So I want to say that this mindset definition I'm going to read is from a teacher. It's a Dr. Carol Dweck. She works at Stanford University, and she published a book on 2006, if I'm not wrong, about mindset. And she coined the terms fixed mindset and growth mindset. She's such a psychologist, and she has been working on mindset, on education, and different fields. So, mindset is the established set of attitudes that are held by someone. Yes, so we have beliefs, we have experiences, as someone wrote, about our past, our talents, and those beliefs and those perspectives are the ones who shape or who lead us to respond to different situations in a certain way. So let's keep on. So we're going to do a small activity here on your per deck presentation. You can find a link that you can click on, and it's a short quiz about growth mindset. So we're going to assess, to evaluate our own mindset. There you're gonna find some statements, and you will have to select some options according to the statement, if you agree or disagree, or how much do you agree with them. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do. Can you please tell me if you can see the link, and you can go to the web page that we proposed here?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so take a couple of minutes to do this activity. Silvina, are you back? Can you hear me? Please let me know when you're done with this short test.
Could you read the questions so the people in Facebook Live know what questions they are, Rocío, please?
Okay, give me a sec.
Or maybe show them.
Yes, sure. Give me a sec. One second, please. Or we could share the link on the Facebook Live for people to get.
I've already done it.
Okay. Okay, so these are some statements. I'm going to share my screen with you. You can see it now, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Perfect. So it says, overall, I'm a pretty positive person, and I believe in my potential. So here you have a scale from not a chance, kind of, and absolutely. So I'm going to click on absolutely to continue. Okay, number 2. Learning doesn't stop when you leave school. It's an exciting lifelong pursuit. So remember, there is no wrong or right answer. It's just about you. I invite you to be honest, and because this is the way that we are going to discover where and in which aspects we have to work on. So let me click here. Okay. My intelligence isn't fixed and I can become smarter. Yeah. Hard work, focus, and perseverance determined my results. Not sure about that. I'm just thinking out loud myself.
That's great. That's great.
No matter how much I know, there's always something new to learn. Yeah. I don't believe in limitations and I can create opportunities myself. Even if I wasn't born talented, I can still develop talent for something. Not sure. I love trying new things and taking on new challenges.
I like
Sometimes. The harder I work at something, the better I can be at it. Well, maybe. Failure doesn't define me and I can learn from my mistakes. Completely agree. I take feedback as a chance to grow and improve what I'm doing. It depends. I can let go of the idea of perfection because there is always room to improve. Maybe, maybe not. For me, remember this is Rocío Oviedo taking this test. Through teaching and supporting others, I grow my own skills and abilities. Yeah, definitely very true. I avoid negative self-talk and speak constructively about myself and others. Yep, that's me. I'm a person with potential and my attitude is everything. Yeah. Okay, and when you finish question 15, you're gonna click on submit and then it's gonna give you a feedback. So here I have mine. So you're a growth mindset powerhouse, nothing can stop you. Now it's time for you to share your magic with others, and we've got a top-notch resource to help you. Okay, this web page that brings some material that is very useful. So let's go back to the Pear Deck. So I want to see what type of mindset did you get. It's okay if you got a fixed mindset. I mean, I want to make clear that we all have both. We have fixed mindset and growth mindset, but we tend to lean towards some more than the other, or it depends on the situation. Carol Dweck presented 5 situations in which we are exposed, or in which we are going to notice which mindset comes in that moment. Yes, we're not gonna get deep into that, but I invite you to check Carol Dweck's book and the theory that she proposes, which is very, very interesting. So here in this slide, you can drag your icon, drag the dot to what type of mindset do you have. Some people I see that are in the middle. As I was telling you, it's okay. I mean, if there is nothing wrong in having a fixed mindset. And today we're going to focus, if we have that fixed mindset, what can we do as teachers to improve that fixed mindset that we have. Okay, maybe this tool, this Pear Deck, is new for you, so you're just exploring how to use it. It's a very interactive tool. I invite you also to check this if you are still teaching online. Okay, great. So we see some people that are more towards the fixed mindset, others towards the growth mindset. Some of you are in the middle. Yeah, but we have both. We have both. It depends on the situation, but we can work on those fixed aspects that we have in our mind. There is still time to work on that. Okay, let's keep going. So now we're going to watch a short video where I'm going to introduce you to Mojo and Katie. They are going to represent a situation. We're going to watch a short story, and at the end you're going to tell me who represents the growth mindset and who represents a fixed mindset. So let me click on it and go to this first. Okay, so let's listen to it.
Chapter 1. Mojo discovers a secret about his brain. A secret that will change the way he looks at the world forever. Our story begins with Mojo, a friendly monster who loved school, especially math. Until one day, when something terrible happened. The math problems got harder. Nothing made sense anymore. Mojo had a devastating thought. He just wasn't smart enough for school. It seemed the only reasonable thing to do was pack his things and leave forever. Just then, he heard his friend Katie laughing. "Mojo, you can't just give up," she said. "I have no choice, Katie," said Mojo. "You're either born smart or you're not. And I realize today that I'm not." "Mojo, that's not how it works," said Katie. "Anyone can be smart. You just have to work at it." "That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard," said Mojo. "It's not ridiculous, it's science," said Katie. "Neuroscientists studied the brain for years and discovered an incredible secret, that your brain is like a muscle. When you try challenging things, like those hard math problems, you're giving your brain the exercise it needs to get stronger, which makes you smarter." "Oh, is that really true?" said Mojo. "Of course," said Katie. "It's like how when you were a baby, you didn't know how to talk. But you kept trying, exercising your brain, until one day you could." Mojo! Mojo couldn't believe what he was hearing. If your brain was really like a muscle, did that mean anyone could become smarter? Even him? He turned to ask Katie, but just then, she had to be off to her next class. But maybe you can answer Mojo's question. What do you think? Can Mojo become smarter? What about you? Now that's an interesting question indeed.
Okay, let's go back to our peer deck presentation. So, tell me, which character represented the fixed and the growth mindset? In this slide, you can write and remember Mojo, the boy, and Katie, the girl. And the big question, can Mojo become smarter? What do you think? You can tap your microphone and just let us listen to you.
Yes, anyone, please?
Okay, Katie has a growth mindset and Mojo fixed.
Carlos Carranza.
Carlos, go ahead.
Hello. I think encouragement is pretty awesome. And sometimes what we need is a little motivation. So the way they, in this cartoon, we can see is the encouragement that this character is giving to Mojo. So that is the key point there.
Thank you, Carlos. Yeah, sometimes we think that our abilities are fixed, that we cannot do anything to change them. And that's the big problem. And we can see that on our students. For example, I'm an English teacher, and from day one I ask them, okay, what's your relationship with English? And some of them say, no, I'm not good at it, period. I'm like, okay, so we have to start changing those beliefs first in ourselves as teachers, because sometimes we tend to label our students. Yes, we say, no, this student is not good at English or at French or anything. And that label immediately is fixed in our mind, and we're going to see that student with that label. So we have to work first on us as teachers to help them work on themselves, on their mindset. Thank you for answering. Thank you, Carlos. So yeah, Mojo has a fixed mindset in this case, in this story, because he thought that he wasn't just good or smart at math, and the first option was to give up. But Katie said, no, look, our brain has something and can go through a process of growing, facing challenges. And also here we have to talk about neuroplasticity, because we can shape our brain by working on new things and experiencing new projects, let's say, and making mistakes. That's very important. Errors and mistakes are welcome in this path of learning and having a growth mindset. Okay. Okay, so now, I don't know, this, okay, let's put it here. So here we see some statements, and I want you to read them and tell me and select the choice that you think, if it belongs to a growth mindset or to a fixed mindset.
So this first one is, your intelligence is a fixed state and you can't change it very much. What do you think? Does this belong to a growth mindset or a fixed mindset?
I would say it goes to fixed mindset.
I will agree.
Oh, good morning, Irma.
Hi, good morning. Sorry, I got in late, but I'm here.
Yes, that's a good.
For coming.
As you can see in this tool, you have the chance to choose either growth or fixed. And there you can see how many students, if you were working with your students with this tool, you can see how many students have responded. And it's not only true or false, but you can change the information. And in this way, they can pick the response that they consider is correct.
Okay, let's go to the next one. No matter how much intelligence you have, you can always change it quite a bit.
If you can change it, that means that you can evolve, you can increase it. In that way, it's an opportunity to grow.
Yes, it is. So it's more a growth mindset thought. Let's go to the next.
The next one says, you can learn new things, but you can't really change how intelligent you are. What do you think? Does that correspond to a growth mindset or a fixed mindset?
It's fixed.
A fixed-minded.
Yep.
Yes. One more.
You can always substantially change how intelligent you are. Growth or fixed?
You can, so it's growth.
Growth.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to another one. I like to work best when I can do well without putting a lot of effort in it. What do you think? Fixed or growth?
Not enough effort. That reminds me one of my teenager students. It's like, make it easy, teacher, make it easy. So maybe it's fixed.
Fix.
Let's see the answers, the choices. Silvi, what do you think?
Okay, obviously you always need to put effort in everything you do, persevere and keep trying. Even when you think that it's difficult, always keep trying and you'll get the best results. And sometimes you will as long as you do your best, I think that that's the most important thing. But it's I think it's a very important value to teach our students the importance of making an effort, because if not, like if it is too easy, it's like you're kind of underestimating the students. So if you give them that challenge, it will cause, or it will create a higher impact in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, Silvina and Rocío, maybe somebody else in the audience wants to make a comment so far. We have seen many, we have heard a lot of very important information. Anybody wants to make a comment or a question?
Yeah.
No one?
I would like to ask a question.
Please, Carlos, go.
About the difference between growth and fixed. I understand fixed minded is something that you have it because maybe it was set by your parents, your grandparents, or your environment. So, how can you change your fixed minded to a growth minded? Because I guess it is hard to change your ideas if they are fixed. That is my question.
Thank you, Carlos, in Ecuador.
Okay, so yes, it is not easy to change our fixed thoughts, and we will always have part of our mindset fixed. But how can we do it? So we can do it starting from our language, the way that we talk to ourselves and the way that we talk to others. For example, I have a daughter and she's 7 years old. She's learning to play the piano. And she said, no, I'm not good at it, or yeah, things like that. So what we have to do is, first, there is a word that is yet. So we are working on it yet. And we have to encourage ourselves and others to give importance to the process more than to the result. Also, as teachers, when we praise a student, the way we praise, if we praise the result and not the process, sometimes we unfortunately give them some labels like, okay, you're so smart, you got a 5, or I don't know, an A, instead of let's say it's a math test, of praising the process. Oh, I see that you studied a lot, you asked questions to the teacher, and you review all your material, and then you got a very good result. So things like the language that we use and the praising, the feedback that we give, even to ourselves, because sometimes we talk to ourselves.
Yeah.
We are mean to ourselves. We say, no, I'm not good at this. Definitely, I'm going to give up.
Can I say something?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. And in order to answer, let's say, what Carlos was asking, what we have to do in that case is to challenge our students' assumptions. So everybody goes to school or to classes or to another human group with some assumptions, with some prejudices and stereotypes. So the work of the teacher, the educator in general, is to challenge those assumptions, to challenge, to make them think differently, or by including things that make students think differently or to open their scope, their view. So that's we have to challenge the way they think, because that way they can begin thinking in other options for many things, and so they are going to become more tolerant. So that is one case, right? And then so many people have the assumption that every single immigrant is a person with a negative, something negative. But we have to say that immigration has helped develop many things. Just one example, right? So that is one way to change from a fixed mindset into a growth mindset. So we have to challenge what they think. So that's and that's what I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Edison. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Our good friend
Another
Edison from
idea,
Ecuador.
another idea, if I may, it's the following. Yes, we go into different groups with prejudice and assumptions, like Edison just said, and we should challenge our students, but also because of the process and breaking down all those ideas, it's not easy. We also need to provide evidence to our students. So if we include an exercise with a challenge component, help them to succeed, so you can show and provide the evidence to the students themselves. Like, see, you were thinking that it was going to be impossible for you, but here is the result. You actually can do it. It took you longer, or it took you, to provide more effort, or it's harder for you. But hey, at the end, you were able to do it. So those little steps can break down and destroy all those labels, like you were mentioning, and all the prejudice and all the assumptions that you were not capable of doing something. And it's going to take a while. It's a process, and it's something that we do have to consider. Yes.
Changing our minds. Oh, sorry, Roxana.
Excuse me,
That's
Silvia.
okay. No.
Yes, just wanted to complement to what has been said, is that we have to be aware that we have talents, but we need our own pace, our own rhythm to develop them. And also we are going to have different levels. For example, I know that I cannot sing well, but I can sing good enough for a group of people. I'm not going to make a concert. I'm not going to make a presentation. So I have to be aware of that and accept it. If we have a group of students and everybody has different talents, we, the teachers, have to be aware to work on those. And if somebody takes longer time, or they don't reach high levels of that ability, we have to tell them, okay, you're not doing that well here, but look at that. You have this other talent. You have this other ability, and we compensate. We have a variety of different levels. We have a variety of different learning processes and the pace, but we all can do it. The important thing is to be open to this. If I can do it, or I can't, everybody, if I'm going to say, and as you mentioned, I think Rocío and Silvana mentioned that before, is the way that I speak about myself and about the environment. If I just start with the word I can't, definitely you're closed. Yeah. So, okay, it's hard for me, but I will try. I cannot do it this way. Okay, I will try this other way. Okay, so I just wanted to compliment about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, language certainly defines the way we think and the way we act. And changing, answering your question, I think it was Carlos, I don't remember who asked the question initially, but changing your mindset is not easy, that's for sure. We see it in ourselves, and if it's difficult for us who are adults, imagine for a child, and all the preconceptions and all the things that they bring from home. We are dealing with so many different aspects that are not easy to deal with. So we need to encourage our students to try to bring the best out of them, to challenge them in a positive way in order for them to grow, and not to try to be better than others, but better than themselves, to become a better version of themselves. and to motivate them to continue and not to give up. I think that those things are key in order to have a good environment in our class and to create better people for our society. Better professionals, yes, but also better people. I think that that's the most important thing, because we don't have to forget that in a classroom we have 30 people, 40 people, depending on the country, and we have 40 different worlds, first of all, with many different characteristics. And it is in our hands to bring them up to become this kind of people that we are talking about, this better version of themselves. So it's not an easy task, but I think that it can be done. And that's why I think that that's a little bit what both Rocío and I, one of the reasons why we fell in love with growth mindset, trying to put this into practice, but working on that on ourselves is the first step. I think that that's also key, because we can talk about it a lot, but if we don't put it into practice in ourselves, it will be very hard to afterwards pass it on to our students.
Their point is to invite youth and to reflect on how we see or make them, our students, see errors and mistakes. Sometimes we don't welcome errors, or we see them in a bad way as something that is negative. But we have to see them as an opportunity to learn and to tell them that it's okay to make errors. If they have questions, to do not feel that they don't have the right to ask those questions, because I have noticed that they feel afraid of asking questions, and they see that, or they feel that others are gonna label them as not that smart when they ask questions. So we have to say what I said the first day of class, like, errors and mistakes are my best friends in this class, and they are welcome. And because in those moments we learn, those are opportunities to learn. Either the strategy that we are using is not the correct one for me to learn, or either I have to work harder on this or that aspect. Let's move on. We have many things to say. Let's continue.
Sorry,
So,
Raj
yes, Jaime.
wants to say something very briefly. Raj?
Oh, yeah, I do want to say something briefly. I think what I am listening to is how the teacher responds to the student's mindset. Are they responding with the desire to understand how the student acquired a fixed mindset? Are they curious, and are they exploring that? And how is it that they're going to help them shift that? That is just as important, I believe, is how the facilitator or the teacher explores the mindset, rather than this is wrong, you shouldn't be holding this kind of mindset. So I just wanted to add that as a comment about how does the teacher, what is the teacher's attitude about, oh, you have a fixed mindset, we need to challenge you, you need to change that. Or can I explore how the student arrived at this fixed mindset?
Yeah, thank you, Raj.
Yeah, what Raj says is very true. And that's why it's so important to get to know our students, because that's where we can know it. Well, we will talk about it later on, but that's why having an understanding, a better understanding of our class and our students is essential, because in that way we will be able to find kind of the core where that is coming from. And in that way, we will be able to tackle it, because we can have so many different strategies, but in truth, the knowledge that we have of our students is what is going to help us revert that situation, or give them tools in order for them to find how they can change that situation. But that's part of the process, and it's not an easy or a short one. On the contrary, it takes time, and but it's more than anything, what has to be said is that it's worth it, because I heard a couple of days ago, I heard someone saying, if you tell someone if you constantly tell someone something, the person will believe it if it's something bad. So why don't we change that? Like, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. Like, it's so common for children in kindergarten to say, can you draw this for me? Because I can't do it. Yes, you can do it the way you can. It will be beautiful. No, I can't. Like, and why does that happen? What do we have to look at? And so give them the tools to become independent enough to see that, to know that they can. And I think that Roxana was saying a minute ago, it's like maybe it's not going to be perfect, but we are not looking for perfection. We are looking for them to become independent beings who can manage themselves in different situations, interact with others, and be okay with themselves. Because I think that that's also generates sometimes so many problems in society. I think that if we were taught growth mindset, emotional intelligence, and some other things when we are children, our society, our world would be a completely different place. But well, little by little, there are many different people in different parts of the world working hard in order to try to achieve this.
Okay, so let's continue. So this statement said, I like work best when it makes me think hard. It is a growth statement because when we have a growth mindset, we like to take on challenges. We already said that. Next, I like doing work that I can do perfectly well almost all the time. What is this? What do you think? Is it growth statement or a fixed one? Yeah, definitely. Remember that you can participate in the peer deck presentation to give your responses. It is a fixed statement. When we do not want to make an effort, it's definitely we're having a fixed mindset.
It's like being in a zone of comfort.
Yeah.
No growth.
No growth. Thank you. Okay, let's go to the next one. I like doing things that I learn from even if I make mistakes. We just talked about that. So it is a growth statement or a fixed? Definitely growth.
Growth.
Yeah. Go that extra mile. Okay, when I have to put an extra work, it makes me feel like I'm not good as my peers or colleagues.
Ooh.
What do you think?
That's fixed.
Yeah.
Definitely fixed.
And sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It had happened to all of us at one point, I think. But we have to push ourselves to go to put that extra work.
I'm not comparing ourselves to others. I think that that's also very important because first of all, that it doesn't lead anywhere. It doesn't help us, and it doesn't help. That's why we have to be so cautious when you say, why don't you do this like Pablito? I'm like, because I'm not Pablito. I think that is the answer. Each person has their own process and they have to go through it. And this comparing, the only thing that does is create clashes or resentment, and also making people have a low self-esteem, because this constant comparison is not helpful. So language, as we said, the importance of language, we are not going to deal with it in depth here, but I think we need to work a lot on language in order to improve our relationship, for example, with our students, at home, with our children, within like in our intrapersonal intelligence as well, the language that we use with ourselves, how we kind of punish ourselves when something doesn't go the way we want to. So, well, that's also something to work on.
When someone is hard, it makes me want to spend more time on it, not less. It is a growth state.
It is.
Irma?
Yeah. But it's growth.
Okay, yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. So let's connect what we have learned with our lives. Sylvie.
So we would like you to think about some challenges that you have faced today or even during this week. Have you been faced with any challenges? We would like you to reflect upon that, and you can tell us in the comments what challenges you have faced this week or today even. In my case, the internet was driving me crazy. How can you think of facing that challenge in a different way? Would you see it as a challenge if the situation were different, for example? And what could you do differently if you were faced with that challenge again, from what you have learned about the way that you resolved that situation? So you can tell us in the comments, you can think about it and tell us in the comments. I think that that's one of the great things about growth mindset, is that gives us those minutes in order to reflect upon our own life, our own actions, and to be present in the moment and think about how we are acting, what we are doing, and how we are reacting to what's happening to us.
Well, this week, Silvina,
Yes.
it's been very stressful to me, very, very stressful. And I noticed that I couldn't manage or regulate my feelings in the virtual classes. My students are completely dead tired, exhausted, because they are about to start their final exams. And incredibly, my four classrooms didn't want to participate at all. So they confess to me and they say, teacher, we are dead tired. We don't want to participate anymore. And I have to confess that I was also so stressed that I was not reacting well to one of my children's comments. So I need to learn to work on how to regulate my feelings when I am stressed. And I guess most of us are stressed because we spend 8, 9, 10 hours in front of the screens.
Yeah. Which is actually exhausting, yes.
So maybe we can start looking, great. We can start looking at your answers. And what Jaime says is very real. At this time of the year, I think that, I don't know what you think about this, but I feel that this year was even more tiring than last year.
Yes.
At first, I thought it was going to be different. I thought, well, now we have the training, so it's going to be easier. No, it's not. On the contrary, I feel more tired. It's like we all need to stop being in front of the computer all the time, because it kind of that it does not allow us to be in contact. We're in contact with the people in front of the computer, on the other side of the computer, but we forget about what we have around us, and that's of course it's our job. We have to do it, but sometimes we become so focused on the computer that we cannot pay attention to the rest. And then when we think about it, we spend 8 hours or more on Zoom. So our lives are like a soap opera on Zoom. So it's it's a bit complex. Someone says here, I can try to do it in other ways, but sometimes there is only one way to do it. Yeah, sometimes it's difficult to find new creative ways to approach things. For me, it is important to know how stressed we are as teachers are in this pandemic situation, even though to remain positive and focus on improving instruction while maintaining respect for the classroom and the efforts of the students. Yeah, the thing is that everyone focuses on something that I feel in general is that we always focus on the students because, well, without students, we wouldn't be teachers. But we also need to be very careful with ourselves, and we need to take care of ourselves because we are burned out too. It's not only them. We're all in the same situation. We're all in this together. Whether we face it differently because we have different tools, probably. But those of you who are parents had to not only be on the computer all day, but also helping your children with the schoolwork and preparing classes and materials and being in class. Like Rocío has 2 daughters and she's a super mom. She can always do everything. I was like, I admire you so much because I don't know how you do it. Like with your children, helping your children and having 4 or 5 classes per day or even more. It's like, it's crazy. So I think that it's normal that this happens to us, but it's true that we also need a moment to sort of, okay, I need to disconnect and I need to think, and I take this moment, I'm present in this moment, I think about this moment, and how can I make some changes? And it's good to have that moment to reflect upon the things that we are doing, how we are doing them, and think about how we can change them. Because the truth is that we are not invincible. That can also have an impact on our health, and so we need to pay attention to that, because we are all stressed. I think that there is we didn't write this here, but there is one of the slides. If you work if you work with Pear Deck, you will see that one of the slides is to check your stress levels, and you can do that with your students. And I think that if we checked our stress levels, even though now we are talking and we are having a nice time, we could all see that our stress levels are a little bit high.
But I think I want to point here that it's important to help our children and our students and even ourselves to recognize the feeling that we're having, because nowadays I think that we use the word stress for everything. We feel anger and we say we're stressed. We feel sad, we feel tired, yes. So I think emotional intelligence is, and it was one of our sessions, Sylvie, do you remember? To work on our emotional intelligence, to recognize what am I feeling, how can I handle it, what can I do in that moment. So that's another session that we will have one day.
Please, next year, Rocío and Silvina. Just a reminder, we still got 16 more minutes, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Ooh.
Okay, so
And then 10 more minutes for reflection.
sure. Okay, let's move on. Sylvie?
You can. I think that this is this is related to the previous one. Go to the next,
Let's go
please.
to the next.
Okay, so
Go
Rochi.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so in order to kind of wrap it up or make a summary of what we were talking about before, someone asked, well, what this is growth mindset, this is fixed mindset. So what we would like to point out, and this is a page that we totally recommend, that is Big Life Journal, which is great. And if you don't know it, please check it out. And there are lots of free resources, and it's very interesting to use with your students. At some point in future activities, probably we can do some of their activities because they're great. So the idea that we want to make clear is that growth mindset is related to freedom. It's like you keep growing. Someone said before, the comfort zone. Think about, you're in this space and you can expand yourself, you can keep growing. That gives you freedom. On the contrary, a fixed mindset is something that limits you, that makes you remain in that comfort zone. And yeah, the comfort zone is fine, but you will not be able to see what's beyond if you always stay in that comfort zone. So when we talk about growth mindset, we are talking about a person with a growth mindset is someone who perseveres and who is not afraid of facing failure and learning from that failure. Also, it's very important to reinforce that a person with growth mindset understands that effort is required in order to build their skills, and that they find inspiration in other people's success instead of being threatened by it. They accept criticism, which is difficult, but they accept criticism and see it as something constructive, not destructive. And they always want to learn more. and they build their abilities being helped by everything that we've mentioned before. Whereas a fixed mindset person avoids challenges, they prefer to stay in their comfort zone. They ignore feedbacks like, oh yeah, what they're telling me, it doesn't work for me, or I really don't want to hear it. And they feel threatened by other people's success. They want to look smart because they are constantly thinking about what other people think, and they want to look smart without actually thinking, how can I be smarter and a better version of myself? They give up easily because they don't like this idea of being challenged. And if something gets very difficult, it's like, maybe it's not for me. And they don't build abilities, but those abilities are fixed. I can do this, this is what I can do, and that's enough. And that's it. So now we would like to know how we are doing, because we've talked a lot and we reflect upon so many different things, but we would like to know how you are feeling. And this is another feature that Pear Deck has, that is the possibility to sort of check your students, work on your students' emotional intelligence and allow them to express themselves and to express their emotions. And well, this is what we want to do now. So we would like to know how you are doing.
We're doing great, and we're running out of time, so let's keep going.
Let's continue. Yes, we're going to be running a little bit at the end, sorry.
Because what comes next, it's very interesting. We are going to reflect on our practices and our mindset as educators. So get ready. I think we don't have time for a break.
Yeah, we are going to skip the break. Some other time, if you want to do some breathing. Let's think about nice things, and we take a second to stretch a little bit and to breathe and go on.
Okay, so very quickly, we're going to think about an activity that we would like to do or you would like to do, but you feel you can't. Let's say painting, riding a bicycle, I don't know, something that you think that you would like to do, but you feel that you can't. Remember, you can write your response. It is anonymously, so we'll like to know swimming, running. Okay. Okay. So each one of us have something that we say, okay, I would like to learn how to water paint. For example, running in the park, driving a car. I'm struggling right now with that. I'm not an excellent driver yet. I'm working on that. Okay, learning Chinese. Okay, that sounds challenging. Playing the guitar. There you go. Okay, so that's something that we would like to do. It's a challenge, right? And maybe for many years or for a long time we have thought we can't, but now we're learning that our brains can do anything that we would like to. So for that, we're going to watch very quickly a short video here. Let me play for you. That was, what's the name? You can learn anything. Let's watch this video, guys.
Nobody's born smart. We all start at zero. Can't talk, can't walk, certainly can't do algebra. Adding, reading, riding a bike. Nobody's good at anything at first. There was a time when Einstein found a pen. And Shakespeare had to learn his ABCs just like the rest of us. Thankfully, we're born to learn. Slowly, surely, you stumble, slip, crawl, fall, and fail, and fall. Frustrating, confusing, trying, struggling, until one day, you walk. One foot in front of the other, one idea on top of the next, each wrong answer making your brain a little bit stronger. Failing is just another word for growing, and you keep going. This is learning. Knowing that you'll get it, even if you haven't gotten it yet. Because the most beautiful, complex concepts in the whole universe are built on basic ideas that anyone, anywhere, can understand. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you only have to know one thing. You can learn anything.
Okay, great. So you can learn anything. So please think about the steps that you have to take now to learn that you posted in the previous slide. Running in the park, driving, learning Chinese, and we have to make a plan. We're not going to learn Chinese or learn to drive from one day to the other, but we have to make a plan and follow the steps. And remember that we cannot do it yet, okay?
And also that it's not too late. I know many people who say, no, I cannot do this. I'm too, well, some people say I'm too old for this. And my grandfather was the person who probably inspired me the most throughout my life. And he was always teaching me new things and challenging me and trying to get the best out of me. And he always said, you stop learning the day you die. You are always learning, and you can always continue learning, and that's amazing.
And you even learn when you are dying.
Well, it's also part of the process. That's true. So now we are going to delve into the characteristics of the growth mindset teacher. If you have we are not going to do it now, but I'm going to mention a very short and interesting activity that you can do at home when you feel that you can't do something. If you write with your right hand, try writing your name. Write it first with your right hand, and then try writing it 10 times with your left hand. And you will start, you can do it, we don't have time to do it now, but just just trying to see how you take the pen or the pencil, the way that you start writing. And the more you practice, you will see that you will be able to perfect that action. And it will be very helpful because that minuscule action will show you how you can actually grow your brain, change your attitudes, and keep improving what you're doing. So here we have some people writing, and they are telling us which are the characteristics that you think that a growth mindset teacher should have. And some people are already responding. I saw that some people were talking about being a leader, motivation. So tell us, which characteristics do you think a growth mindset teacher has? Okay, well, we have some very good: open to change, flexible, patient, optimistic, enthusiastic, flexible. Okay, good. Roti?
Okay, so Bracken Hanley proposed 10 characteristics. So they are: a growth mindset teacher must be or should try to be or should work on being equitable, action-oriented, to hold high expectations on their students. Sometimes we don't hold high expectations on some of our students. To communicate effectively, to build strong relationships, to value mistakes. We talked about that before. To be process-oriented, empathetic, to promote positive interdependence, and to be flexible. So now we're going to show you one statement regarding each of the characteristics, and we will discuss very briefly about it. You can select here, you're going to reflect on yourself. And you can select if you do it, if sometimes you do it, or if you don't do it yet. So equitable. I understand the difference between equity and equality, and I work to give my students learning opportunities and to distribute resources equitably. Sylvie.
Okay, so this equitable and equity and equality can be a little, because there are terms that tend to be confused. So think that I don't know, you have you have a student who got a cut in his or her finger, and then you have another student who has a stomach ache, and another one who has an earache, and another one who has, I don't know, a toothache, and you give them all a band-aid. Would that solve the problem?
No.
Definitely, no.
So
Definitely.
that's very important to try to give each student what they actually need, instead of, because sometimes, yeah, we try to be or to act in the same way with everyone, but maybe not everybody needs exactly the same. Okay, so this is where this equitable idea comes from. Okay, so let's see the next one. Action-oriented. I motivate my students to solve their problems by formulating questions, teaching them strategies, and offering them support to promote conflict resolution among students. We're waiting for responses. What do you think, Rochi? There. Okay, there are some responses already.
So remember that we have to promote that, as I was telling you before, to find a plan, to make a plan step by step, to motivate them to take action, to find the right strategies, to offer them a support, to make them feel that you're there to support them, to orient them to the actions that they need to take to advance in whatever they are learning. Some people say, yes, I do it. Some people say, I don't do it yet, but I'm working on that. Let's go to the next. Flexibility. I understand the needs of different students. Wow, do I understand the needs of different students sometimes? Or I just give all of them the same?
One thing that helps me, for example, and I think that several teachers probably do something similar, is to make a survey at the beginning of the year, to try to know what their situation is. Like sometimes when I ask them, tell me something about yourself that you think I'm supposed to know. I work with adults, and some people say, I'm a good student. Good, but sometimes people tell me, I work every day from 8 to 8, or I have 3 children and I have to help them with their schoolwork. There is only one computer at home and we are 5 people using it. So those things, knowing those things, are very important, because then we can fall into a trap, which is assuming. And assumptions are not good. But if we know firsthand what is going on, we can find a way of being more flexible and helping them in the way that they need. And there is where also the previous one of the previous ideas comes into play.
Okay, let's move to high expectations. I have high expectations for each student. I model expectations through language, verbal communication, positive reinforcement, and constructive feedback. Yeah, so as I said before, sometimes we identify that some students are struggling learning whatever we're teaching, and we label them with he's not that smart, or he's not gonna get it. But we have to work on our high expectations towards each of the students. To, if we believe that they can, they will. I mean, we will model those expectations with the language that we use, with how we communicate with them, and the feedback that we give them. Yes, I do it. Sometimes I do it, and I don't do it yet. So this is, we're doing it very quickly, but those statements are made for to reflect on our practices. We're running out of time.
Yeah, okay, so communication. Yeah, I know that. I offer lots of comments oriented to the process. My students feel comfortable asking and answering questions. Remember that it's very important to focus on the process, not on the person, because that's where labels appear. The smart one, the blah, blah, we can very easily fall into that, and we can label our students even without wanting to. So we have to be very cautious in the way that we communicate with them. And remember, the process is first, and that's what we should focus on, not on the person.
Okay, great. A growth mindset teacher builds strong relationships. I show that I am interested and I care about my students. I know aspects about their lives, their interests, passions. What Sylvie was saying, yeah, we tried at the beginning of the semester or of the year to ask them. I always ask them, tell me something that you think I should know about you to help you, to give you my best as a teacher. So some people say, I have health problems, I have to work, I have a baby, etc. So, yeah, yes, I do it sometimes, I do. And if we do it, do we take those things into account, or we just ask them, okay, okay, I know you have a baby, I know you work, and then we do not facilitate them the tools or the strategies to advance in the process.
Okay, talking about the process
Oriented.
Sorry, there's a lot of noise, background noise, sorry.
Don't worry.
Process, talking about the process, I understand that learning is less about results and more about the process itself, what we were just talking about. I praise and question the process, not the person. And remember that praising also, we have to be very cautious with language when we are using praising.
Sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't do it yet. Okay. Value mistakes. So I normalize mistakes and help my students to see them as learning opportunities. So yes, I do it. Yes. So remember, always tell them and tell yourself that if you make a mistake, it's okay, and what can you learn from that mistake?
And make them know and let them know that that, as we said at the very beginning, your class is a safe space to make mistakes, and making a mistake is not the end of the world. It's just a mistake, and if they can learn from it, that's a good mistake. As long as they can learn from it, it's good. Empathy. I make an effort to see the challenges and the difficulties from the perspective of the student. Put ourselves in their shoes also helps. It's also something that, well, empathy is a word that we use a lot, but do we put it into practice the way we should? So, well, some are saying that yes, they do it, probably others not yet, but it's a good moment to start.
A teacher with a growth mindset promotes positive interdependence. So I try to build a community of students who work simultaneously on the learning results and goals of the group. I think these online classes has not helped in this aspect, because each one is in their houses, each person. But we have to find ways to ask them to work as a group and to help others in terms of making a community in our own classroom, a community with a growth mindset. So yes, I do it. Sometimes I do it. Very good. Excellent. Remember, there is no right or wrong answer. If we don't do it yet, this is the moment to start.
Okay, so all of these characteristics that we have just mentioned are the ones which are going to help us create a better environment, and that our class is the class where our students want to be. And every time I plan a class or I think about a new class, I try to think about how would I feel if I were a student. And so I try to create a class where I want to be, a class I want to be part of. And one thing that works very well, at least it has worked very well for us, is the use of the exit ticket. And because we are at the very end, we are at the end of our presentation, we would like to show you an example of this exit ticket. And here we have some questions. 5 minutes before the class finishes, we can give our students an exit ticket for them to express how they felt during the class, what they learned. Obviously, the questions will vary, but in this case, we would like to know what did you learn today? What was the thing that you liked the most? And if there was something that you didn't like that much, if there was something that you find easy or difficult, you can tell us both if you want to. And if you have any comments in order to continue improving our presentations. So thank you very much, guys, for being here, to all of you who are here in Zoom and those who are following us through Facebook Live. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you. And now we await your responses.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much.
And for being here.
Go on, Rocío, go on. I interrupted you.
I just wanted to thank you, Jaime, for inviting us, and thank you all of you who participated. This is a very rich process, and we as teachers and we as a community can help each other to grow.
Yeah, number one, some people here in the audience and in the Facebook Live, they want your emails because they want to write to you and ask you about this very important topic. So could you please share your email? Could that be possible, Silvina, Rocío?
Sure, yeah, I'll write it here, I'll write mine in the chat.
Okay, and could you stop sharing your screen, Rocío? Well, I guess everyone thinks the same, just like me, that it was and it is and it will be a very important topic that we need to take into account during, before, and after our classes, because we work with human beings, just people like you and me. Okay, so thank you so much, dear Rocío and Silvina, for your time, your expertise, and I want to, we would like to have you back on our international meetings next year when we come back in February. So if it is possible to have you back, we would be very happy to continue with this topic. Or something that I've been thinking about is children. You mentioned, Rocío Oviedo, that you work with little children, and there is something that is the stage where we should start working with students when they are very little, because then later, when we are just like you or me, it's much more difficult to change or regulate our emotions. Thank you so much. Now, we have 10 minutes. I didn't tell you that we had just 10 more minutes. I just wanted to see how you manage your mind. And I didn't tell you anything, but we got 10 more minutes to listen to the comments of the people here. So anybody who wants to express his or her opinion or gratitude to these two wonderful human beings.
Okay, one thing I would like to say is that we not only challenge our students' assumptions, we start by challenging our own assumptions. We go, many times we go into a classroom with many preconceptions, and then we need to do that, to make the effort to challenge them, because we, as humans, as human beings, we have that baggage, but we need to start this challenge and by ourselves. So we have to do it, and before even entering a classroom and trying to accept those things, because and checking what we can change from students, but starting from ourselves. That's it.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much, Edison in Ecuador. Micaela in Peru.
Hello, Jaime. Hi, I just want to say when she was speaking to try to write with your left hand, I did 10 times my name. So this is the result here. Can you see my name? It's getting better. The first time it was wrong, very wrong. I couldn't understand. And then I try. And the last time, Michaela, it's just perfect. I did it with my left hand. So it's really good to try the things, not only write it down and put in the notebooks. Is you have to do it. You can do it. Thank you so much for your help, Silvina and Rocío.
Thank
Thanks.
you, dear Micaela, for your testimony. Thank you so much. Anybody else, please? Please, Irma, in Ecuador.
Yeah, I have two comments. Number one, I always include a small survey for my students in the first week. I have always included and considered learning styles and to ask my students about the skill that they would like to pursue or practice a little bit more. But after this seminar, I'm thinking and creating a couple of questions that maybe will help me get to know about their minds, if that's set or if it's fixed. So thank you for that. And the second comment, it's like, I'm totally convinced, and this seminar just reinforced what I think, the importance and the impact of the words that we use with everybody. We can create or we can destroy. And we need to be aware the language that we're using, the way that we're using it, the tone that we're using it among our students and among the people that are around us, so we will be able to create or help them create. Thank you. Thank you to the two presenters. It was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Irma. Somebody else, please. Miriam, Liz, Sandy, Julie, Marco in Mexico, Silvina, sorry. Stephanie, Angela, Raj, Roxy, María Teresa Terán in Bolivia, Carlos in Ecuador. Any other comment you want to make? Yeah, Roxy.
Oh,
you.
sorry.
Maria Teresa, just a brief participation. Just wanted to thank Silvina and Rocío, because this make us aware of all the possibilities that we have in front of our situations. But I would like to emphasize that this mindset has to be worked a lot on us, basically. We have to consider that all of us, we have different levels of stress, and we have to be patient with ourselves. We have to be flexible with ourselves. And I am indeed very, very convinced that I can give what I have in myself. If I feel it and I live it, I can convince others of what I'm saying and what I'm telling. And this way of knowing our students is fantastic, because it's a human behind a learner. It's a human behind a student. And that is why we are here. We are not just only instructors, but we are educators. And we have to understand that if we are stressed, our students are as well. If we are having difficulties, our students are doing that the same. So we have to balance and to have all of this. Sometimes I work with business people. I work with one-to-one student. And sometimes for me, it's quite difficult to start my class because my student comes with a lot of problems and they need a space to talk, just to talk about the situation, to talk about themselves. And then definitely for me, that's much more important than the class itself, because the human, the person needs that time and that space. So thank you very much for this opportunity to both of you. And definitely, this is a as Irma said, this is a constructive method, and this is a constructive situation, a moment that Jaime has created due to the pandemic. This is one of the good things of due to the pandemic, but otherwise we hadn't been here and we hadn't been sharing all what we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roxy. Maria Teresa in Bolivia.
Thank you, Jaime. Thank you very much for the presentation. I think this is a challenge for all of us, right? because due to the characteristics given, we have many aspects to work with. And very often, we are not aware, and we think that everybody understands, meaning students actually, the way we feel, right? And we expect some kind of reaction from them as well. But I think being conscious of the things that we have to go through in this process, in this learning process, implies learning for teachers as well. We as teachers have to develop all the characteristics and trying to be conscious, trying to be aware that students, like many of you said, have a big baggage of different aspects, different situations, might be problems, it may be technological problems as well. You know, the connections are terrible sometimes, and we have to be understandable to help them overcome all the things and to succeed. And the success is going to be for all of us as well. Thank you for the presentation. It was very interesting. Thank you very much.
Maria. Thank you, Maria. And Silvina is a good example of connection problems. she's in the highland. She's in the highland, and she had to go to a coffee shop or somewhere like that to get connection. Sandy, please, your comment. Sandy? Sandy, you raise your hand.
Sorry. Now I'm here. I'm trying to just have my microphone open. I just want to add that here in Colombia, just like 1 or 2 weeks ago, there was a really huge event. It was led by the government talking about brain and the importance of neuroscience and education. This important dialogue, and this is a really, really good example how it works when we work together. Know how our brain works, know how to use this information to make we as a teacher and also our students.
Sorry, Sandy.
Microphone is off.
Yeah, Sandy, your microphone. Okay, sorry, Sandy.
I don't know if it was me.
It was me, I must confess.
Okay, thank you very much. No, I just want to add this one. This is a topic that is calling the attention. I am really happy about that everyone is talking about this, and it's really important, this relationship between neuroscience and education. It's really good. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, dear Sandy, and my apologies again. I didn't do it on purpose. It was just a 58-year-old mistake.
No worries.
Angela Pinilla, I don't know where, maybe Colombia. Angela Pinilla. Angela? Are you there?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, from Colombia.
From Colombia, okay, go on.
Yes, so I had the opportunity to enter a course with Rocío and Silvina. I think it was this year, I don't know, can you correct me, Rochi? So we had a brief course about growth mindset, which was very helpful because, as many of you were saying, like the main thing is to become aware of what you're doing, what you're not doing, especially, and what you can do, right? And I think it was Roxana who said, you basically, if you are what you are talking about, you become like this person who thinks about empathy, about growth mindset. You can share it, and I don't know, it reflects upon the classes that you're given. So what I wanted to say is that this is a sprint and not a marathon, because one day you have like really good results and you feel I did it. I've got a growth mindset. This is fantastic. I've got it. And then the next day you completely fail. And so this is a process. And what I've learned is like, yes, you have to try to do it every day. But if you fail one day, that's all right, because you will fail. I mean, we're all human. And so this is a process, and all the tools that they have given you, they definitely work, but do not worry if you don't get it perfectly every day. You will eventually. And if you fail, just pick up where you left and continue your process, because it's worth it. And it really shows in your classes, and it improves your classes, I think. So for that, thank you, Rochi and Silvina. And yeah, I just wanted to let you know that this is a process, and to wish you good luck to everyone who's starting the process, who's going to start the process, and who is in the process of this growth mindset mentality.
Thank you so much, dear Angela, for your wonderful words. Christian Coy, and we are about to finish. Christian Coy.
All right, hello everyone. I am Christian Coy from Colombia, and I have had the chance to experience growth mindset with the ideas and guidance from Rocío and Silvina. It has been a great experience to share with them, because when you learn that mistakes are welcome inside the classroom, inside your life, inside everything that you do daily, that's something that helps you grow. And that's what I learned, and that's the main core of their teaching. And that was something very important that I learned from them, and that I apply in all of my lessons since I started sharing with them, because it has improved my students' participation. It has improved my students' interaction among them and among us, because teacher becomes more like a guider, more like a friend to them. And that is a better way to teach, because they don't feel like distance, they don't feel like the distance. Even when we are like having virtual sessions, I can experience that we have a close relationship and a nice atmosphere. And that is because of this greatly environment that is based on respect, on the differences, on valuing the other's opinion, on seeing the other's point of view, So I really like to highlight this, because it has been like a wide change, inside my teaching and also my learning process. So I really want to congratulate Rocío and Silvina, because they have been such good guiders in my process. And yeah, your ideas and explanations and everything have contributed to my job as well as my daily life.
Thank you so much, dear Christian. You see, Silvina, you see, Rocío, all the comments that you have provoked. So you have to be back in February for sure to continue with this such a beautiful topic. And the last one, Marco Aparicio in Mexico, please.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Marco.
Hello. I think this is a very important topic, interesting topic also. Something that we have to reflect on very much. And because for many of us who are not only language teachers, but also for the ones who are teacher trainers. Why? I look at this as a chain because, first of all, we have, as one of the presenters said, we have both sides, our growth-minded side and our fixed-minded side. But it is necessary for every human being to discover both parts. What I do, which puts me on the first one, what I do that which puts me on the second one, and the purpose is to move further through the growth-minded part. This is what I think. But as I am speaking of this in terms of human beings, being human beings, we are language teachers, we are teachers, and as someone said, we are educators. And so, as educators, we also have to reflect about this issue in order to become better teachers, but also in order to help our students to identify the two parts they have inside. And as I said, also because many of us are teacher trainers, we also have to teach our student teachers, the future teachers, to do this in order for them to, in the future, be able to do it with their students. So this is why I see this as a chain labor, in order to little by little help the society to become better. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Marco. I think that Rocío and Silvina, you were not expecting this, but everything that everybody has said is true. And thank you for your wonderful presentation. And before your final words in this presentation, let me remind you that next 5th of December, we will have Marina Gonzalez from Argentina. And finally, at the end, the last International English Online meeting this year will be given by Mary Scholl, Rach Gill, Angelica Rojas, and Isabel Tajwa. Okay, so now your final words, my dear Silvina and Rocío.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you, Jaime, for this space that you've created. I remember when I was in the first presentation, the first conference, sorry about the noise, I was so happy to have found that amazing community of teachers sharing their knowledge. And I can't believe it, but I feel so honored to be here presenting today. So I really thank you for that. Thank you, Rochi, for this great opportunity to get to know each other and to get to learn more about growth mindset. And thank you all for having joined us. We hope that you have enjoyed yourselves. We have a little request. If you feel like it, we have a questionnaire that you can fill in and give us your ideas and your opinions on growth mindset. It will be very useful to us, but it could also be very useful to you in order to do this self-reflection exercise. So thank you very much to all of you, and hope to see you again next year.
Yes,
and let's keep learning.
You will see us through Zoom or over there in Colombia. Send all the links, surveys, everything you want, Silvina, and I will share it in the WhatsApp group.
Right, it's here in the chat.
Okay, and Rocío or Rochi?
Thank you for the invitation. So I want to, the final invitation I want to do is to ask you to be kind to yourself, to first reflect on your process, on where you're having that fixed mindset, and start working on that. If we first as teachers work on ourselves, we unconsciously will impact our students. So thank you so much for being here. We will probably teach this course, the complete course, next year. So if you're interested, you can write to us, and we will willing to help you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear Rocío and Silvina. And the last words of our president of our online association.
Thank you to both of you. It's such an honor to be with you. And I think the biggest thing is that it's not right or wrong, but to recognize which mindset I'm in. Am I in the growth mindset or in the fixed mindset? Because we may have a reason why we're there. Yeah. Thank you so much. See you again next year.
Well, thank you, Silvina, because Rocío, you have a family, a husband, a family to take care of. So thank you so much. And everyone, Miriam, Raj, Edison, Michael, Angie, Christian, Hilda, Maria, Marco, War System, Silvina, Angela, Julissa, Liz, Sandy, Stefan, and Julie, and all the people in Facebook Live. See you on December the 5th, and Merry Christmas is coming.
Yes.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you, Jaime.
No,
Bye bye,
thank
everyone.
you. Bye bye.
Have
Bye
a
bye.
good day.
Safe.
Good
Bye.
Sunday. Thank
Keep
you.
safe.
Bye.
Wear your
Bye,
mask.
Rash.
Time for cooking.
See you and thank you.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody. Bye-bye.
Edison. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you.
Bye,
See you, everybody.
Roxana. Bye.
See.
Goodbye. See you next.
Be safe.
Goodbye,
Bye,
Carlos.
Carlos.
Goodbye,
See
everyone.
you. Bye.
Goodbye,
Thank
miss.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.